Where Winds Meet surprised me by the amount of depth in its systems and content, and I've been playing Where Winds Meet over the last couple of weeks thanks to Everstone Studios. The thing I learned is, man, this game is gorgeous. And the second thing is that this game has a lot of content. So I've played about 10 hours of Where Winds Meet, starting from the beginning of the story, doing some exploration, completing the main story from here and some side activities, and then I was thrust into a later game character and was able to explore the latter stages of the game in the Kaifeng City region. Where Winds Meet is set in the turbulent era of the 10th century China, where you'll explore China's 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period. You play as a young sword master with a mysterious past. And one of my favorite things about this game is actually a particular setting in the display options. Here, you'll find the ability to change the visual style of the game. This isn't just like a typical brightness increase or contrast change either. It fundamentally changes the saturation of the world, like the vivid mode, making all the colors pop off the screen, or you can go the opposite direction and be more subtle. This customization extends beyond just the visual flair of Where Winds Meet. Before you even begin, you can pick between 3 exploration modes, ranging from extremely guided, where every quest marker and activity is shown on screen, a happy middle ground that will show you the current objective and a few other things, and then a completely exploration-based mode where you'll simply just need to find your own way. While you're out in the world, there is more to do than just combat. Whilst heading to my next main objective, I ran into a fisherman who gave me a fishing rod and I was able to challenge them to a little fishing competition. I won, of course. I also did some cooking for a little girl, which uses materials that you find in the world or buy from shops with different recipes to unlock. These cooked foods also have benefits as well, like the hot pot that I made restores 4,500 health over 3 seconds. I also found a cat called Meow Meow that had a small puzzle for me to solve with some rewards, which actually reminded me a little bit of like the Korok seeds in Zelda Breath of the Wild. The Zelda comparisons extend to the mystic arts as well, that these can be used outside of combat to manipulate NPCs or the world around you to unlock certain rewards. For example, in Kaifeng City, I found a locked chest that a gentleman was guarding, and after trying to stealth up and unlock it, which didn't work, or tinkering with trying to immobilize him so he wouldn't turn around, which also didn't work, I realized that I could use the Heavenly Snatch mystic art to steal the goods from a distance. Now, other players can leave you road signs as well if you get stuck on puzzles or just need a little bit of guidance. These are similar to like the messages that you would find in like a Souls-like game or Elden Ring. The exploration I found a little overwhelming in the beginning, as there is just a lot of quests and activities and shiny things and interactables that I had some choice paralysis around where I should be going and what I should be doing. But I found I was always able to latch onto something. Like in one session, I was just wandering around doing whatever activity caught my eye. And when I found this anomaly in the world, like this big stone with these statues nearby, I was able to imitate these statues. And this unlocked a deer trail, which I followed, that had a 30-minute side quest that took me underground with multiple puzzles to solve with the mystic arts and a pretty challenging boss fight at the end. I liked how you can just stumble across these things. It's not all wilderness either. The Kaifeng region is a massive city where many of the structures are faithfully recreated from real ancient Chinese architecture, and these buildings that the city is filled with are all freely explorable and all have that same discovery and like side activities you find out in the world. Combat feels a little floaty at times, as there's a clear focus here on style and flair rather than hit recognition and feedback. Hitting deflects, however, does feel great. There is a wide range of choices in how you choose to tackle each scenario. Firstly, you can equip 2 weapons and a bow at the same time, with 7 weapon types to choose from the sword, the spear, dual blades, the glaive, the fan, the umbrella, and the rope dart. Apart from that, you can also equip 12 unique martial arts and 24 mystic arts, arts. Each weapon has different animations and a feel to them. At any given time, you can equip up to 2 of these martial arts determined by your chosen weapon and 8 of the mystical arts. I quite liked the speed of the dual blades, and once charged, I was able to enter like a fury-like mode that increased my attack speed and gave me some health back on hits. The bow has different arrow types like the fire arrows that can be used to burn roots to unlock pathways or explode barrels. Each weapon has martial arts, or in another term, weapon skills, that can be triggered on a cooldown, plus those mystic arts that can be used out of combat. They can actually be used in combat as well. One thing about the combat system that I liked is actually the difficulty system, that it's not just numbers going up and down when you scale the difficulty. So there's a standard or like recommended difficulty, which is akin to a Souls-like experience where you'll need to time your deflects and your blocks and your dodges to avoid attacks on your own. The story mode changes this in that, yes, enemies generally have less health and there is a new resource that displays under your health bar. When you're about to get hit by an attack, you'll see like a quick time event pop up and the time will slow down briefly, allowing you to deflect that attack without too much drama, and it'll use up some of that resource. This isn't just like a win button, however, as you only get 2 charges of it and they do regenerate over time. So once you do run out, you'll still need to pay attention to the combat and actually timing your deflects on your own. I really like how the easier difficulty isn't just scaling the health and the damage, it's adding a helping mechanic, and I think that the developers have really thought about a different way to balance the game around a story or an easy mode rather than just like lowering the HP and the damage. Now, you might need these difficulty settings as some of these bosses are seriously challenging, like the Heartseeker for sure took my lunch money, which was when I first started playing around with this setting. Every boss that I fought has unique attack animations and a great looking boss arena and just overall design. Everstone Studios also sent me some footage of some higher level boss encounters like the Shadow Puppet that can transform mid-fight into 2 puppets that you have to contend with both at one time, which looks wildly intense. It's a really nice addition, and I think that it's been really well implemented. While I was exploring the Kaifeng city, I came across a stronghold which I managed to stealth into, and these strongholds are set up similar to an enemy camp in like an Assassin's Creed game. I was able to stealth my way in. I used my bow to knock down an elevated platform that took out one of the guards, and then I went around slowly assassinating as many as I could until I got spotted and had to pull out my sword. There's a real playground feel to the exploration and the combat where you're given a range of options, and it's kind of up to you to find the content that you enjoy inside and outside of combat, and then engage in it how you see fit whilst progressing your character. Progression is broken down into 3 areas: leveling up and gaining skills, finding gear from chests and quest rewards, and enhancing said gear to improve its effectiveness, but not directly. In the develop gear screen, you can enhance specific slots, which will improve your effectiveness of whatever piece of gear you have equipped in that slot. So what this means is that you're not wasting resources leveling up, say, an early game green colored item, only to find a better blue item later on, which is a great middle ground to having a way of enhancing your gear without wasting those resources on gear you're going to replace pretty often. The main progression method is simply leveling up and gaining talent points that can then be spent in your tree to unlock additional mystic art slots so you can have multiple equipped on your bar, adding new abilities like say a charged heavy attack or other passive bonuses. You'll also learn these mystic art abilities we talked about earlier through exploration and finding them. For example, you'll learn the Tai Chi mystic art, which allows you to pick up and throw things from a bear that you meet that's trying to get some honey. Now, I love games with plenty of progression and build variety, and Where Winds Meet has plenty of options for gear and weapon usage, along with the ability to save build loadouts, which I do appreciate. There seems to be a lot going on here that, I've only really scratched the surface from what I've played. There's also PvP and apparently Guild Wars and other co-op and online content that you can compete in, which I haven't experienced at all. There's just so much content and systems and player freedom here, and it does feel much like Everstone Studios have created a sandbox for us to engage in. And if you're wondering, Where Winds Meet is an open world action RPG that can be played solo or cooperatively with a vast world to explore and an abundance of content to delve into, but not just combat or exploration. But Where Winds Meet is a free-to-play game that, according to Everstone Studios, promises no pay to win. All paid items are purely cosmetic, and I've had a peek in that store, and there is definitely a lot of cool cosmetics in there. I was quite impressed by one thing. Where Winds Meet has a planned release date of 2025, and with the final playtest having recently concluded, I'd be keeping my eye on this one if you're interested. Hopefully we'll get a release date announcement soon. Thanks to Everstone Studios for sponsoring this video, and thanks to you for watching this video till the end. Thanks to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.